Alright, people, them, you should know by now that I love my handheld gaming consoles, from the Legion Go, Nintendo Switch, Steam Deck, OLED, them things there. But Razer 2 weeks ago just sent me their new Razer Edge games console with the new Razer Kishi V2 Pro controller, and I'm going to let you know what it's saying 2 weeks later. Now, I ain't gonna go through the whole list of specs because I'm trying to make this video focus on what my experience has been with the Razer Edge and the Kishi V2 Pro controller over the past 2 weeks. But if you want the specs, obviously they're on the screen here somewhere. They've been on the screen. Maybe I put them on that side if there was enough space. I don't know. They're on the screen somewhere, innit? Now, let's start off with downloading games. I feel for me, my experience downloading games has been pretty much cool. I already own Google Android devices, so I've got my Google account set up, and I've already got games that I play on my other Android devices on my Google account. So literally for me, it was just a case of going to the Play Store, downloading some games that I've already bought and banging them out on the Razer Edge. No issues at all for me whatsoever. However, if you're an iPhone user and for whatever reason you don't already have a Google account, you're gonna have to make a Google account, and then any games that you want to play, you're gonna have to either buy them or you can sign up to the Google Play Games Pass kind of thing that they got going on. I think it's like £4 or £5 a month, and you can just download random games from the Play Store that are selected within that Game Pass to bang out on your Razer Edge. Now, I want to look into native gaming first of all, and that means games that you can play without Wi-Fi. You can play these offline. If you're on a plane or somewhere with a dead internet connection and you can't get to like Xbox Game Cloud streaming services or Nvidia GeForce Now, you can bang these games no matter what, as long as your phone has battery. First up, obviously, I got to talk about Rush Rally 3, one of my favorite games on any Android device. It's extremely well optimized, works straight away, plug and play with most controllers that you're plugging in, and the gameplay is just decent, even the physics of the car driving. Next up is Kirk's Adventure. Now, I've already been playing this a little while. It's a little Metroidvania 2D action platformer kind of thing. And it's got a nice, cool little vibe to it. I do like the visuals, they're nice and simple, and the gameplay just works for this type of title. Obviously, we gotta go on to Oceanhorn because that is your Zelda equivalent of what you're gonna get on Android. The graphics look good. There is a sequel, unfortunately, it's on iOS and not on Android though, so hopefully they'll port it over eventually. And then last but not least, we're gonna get some shooting in with Dead Trigger. Again, works easily with the controller, plug and play, no additional setup, and it's a good little bit of FPS zombie action. Now, your mileage may vary depending on what game you're gonna play natively on the phone, tablet, games console, but as you can see, for me, anything I've thrown at it literally works effortlessly, and furthermore than that, it works one time with the Razer Kishi V2 Pro controller. Now, unfortunately, there are some wicked games that don't natively support Android controllers, and that's all cool because the Razer has a little trick up its sleeve with the Nexus app. Now, first of all, the app acts as a game hub. So any game that you got installed on your phone, it drags it all into one place so you can see our whole game library within one app. Everything is nice and easy to get to, and that's all cool. But the feature that really stands out for me is that the app has the ability to map buttons on the controller to games that don't natively support Android controllers, fam. So let's say, for example, PUBG is a game which lets you use touchscreen buttons but doesn't let you use Android controllers. You can map those touchscreen buttons to the physical buttons on the controller via the Nexus app, which for me gives the competitive advantage to using touchscreen controls. Next, we are playing games on the phone in the way the phone is kind of more marketed towards is game streaming. So as I said before, your Nvidia GeForce Now, your Xbox Game Pass Online, them things there. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, there's a lot of game streaming services right now, but my favorite has to be Xbox Game Pass cloud gaming service. It's the Xbox beta app. Obviously, it's compatible with the Razer Edge, and it's just the fact that you have to sign into Xbox once with your Microsoft account, and then everything is available to you. There's no more things to sign into. Whereas let's say, for example, NVIDIA GeForce Now, even though it is compatible with the Razer Edge, you have to sign into NVIDIA GeForce Now. You have to subscribe to the NVIDIA GeForce Now service. And then if you want to play games that are not free to play, you have to sign into the platform that you have already purchased that game on. It's just a long, tedious task, and I feel like it's handled way better on Xbox Game Pass cloud streaming service. Now, as you could see, most of these games played okay, and even moving around my house to different locations that were further away from the Wi-Fi, the game still played okay. But if I moved too far away from the Wi-Fi, I noticed that there was noticeably more input delay and input lag when pressing buttons, which isn't a problem for some types of games where it's turn-based and you don't need split-second reactions. But if you're trying to do anything that's, I don't know, esports based, anything that's competition based, then those input delays are really gonna make you take L's when you're banging out the esports warrior ting. Now, battery life over the past 2 weeks has been pretty much what I expect from a handheld gaming console that runs on Android. Yeah, like you're getting your 6 hours plus of on-screen time, which is definitely good. It's definitely more than the Steam Deck's gonna give you. It's a hell of a lot more than the Lenovo Legion Go is gonna give you, and it's stupidly amounts more than what you're gonna get from any kind of gaming laptop or stuff like that if you're playing on battery power. However, I wouldn't say the battery is crazy at the same time. I'd say it's about what I'd expect from a smartphone. I wouldn't say it lasts as long as some tablets do, but maybe that's because on tablets you have less things synchronizing in the background than you would on your smartphone, which also has a smaller battery. What I talked about, the controller. The controller's good. Controller works. Controller does its thing. Feels ergonomic. I haven't really said much about the controller because for me, it's just a controller. It does what it needs to do. This is not a wireless version. It's USB-C, so the end of the console has to be in there. It has to fit in the console, and you can't play with this when it's off the console like you can with the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. Now, nobody's gonna buy the Razer Edge for using it as a tablet because it's about as big as a flagship phone anyway, and it's pretty much got most of the same features that a flagship phone would have, which is a good thing, but as a tablet, it's not really that. And I guess Razer have only had to call it a tablet because it's not a smartphone, but essentially it's a smartphone without the phone. So it's just a smart thing, and because they're not going to call it a smart thing, they're calling it a smart tablet. But for me, it's kind of too small to be a tablet. You get the message, innit? But yeah, using it in tablet mode, yeah, I guess it's as intuitive as it is to use your smartphone to do what you need to do. But again, I don't really see myself using it as a tablet or as a smartphone on its own when I've already got my phone to be using. But it would come in handy if I'm on a long trip, and let's say, for example, I want to save my smartphone battery. I can let my smartphone chill in my pocket and then use up the battery on this thing instead, which I guess makes sense. I definitely think the Razer Edge is a worthy contender in this mad rush of handheld gaming consoles that are coming out bare quickly kind of thing. Personally, for me now, as I said, I'm already an Android user, so my Google Pixel can do most of the things that this can. However, my Google Pixel was £1,000. This is much cheaper and comes with a controller, so it's definitely dedicated to gaming. Obviously, it can't do everything that my Google Pixel can do, but sometimes it's nice to have my Google Pixel as a phone and a camera just chilling there so I can save the battery that it doesn't have and use this as a separate gaming device if I definitely want to scratch that Android gaming itch. But apart from that, I wouldn't really put it into a list of contenders with rivals like the Steam Deck and the Lenovo Legion Go, because those are handheld gaming PCs. Yeah, you can plug them into the computer. Wait, can you plug this into the computer? So, fun fact guys, the Razer Edge actually does support video out via USB-C. So you can plug a USB-C to HDMI in there, or maybe a USB-C to DisplayPort into your monitor or TV, and get all the action that's happening on the Razer Edge screen blown up to your TV screen size or your monitor screen size, which is dope for playing games, doing a little bit of couch co-op. However, one little drawback is the fact that if you have the controller on the Razer Edge, the USB-C port on that controller doesn't support video out via USB-C. So you'll have to get a Bluetooth controller so that you can plug in the Razer Edge via the USB-C port that is on the Razer Edge itself, and then control the Razer Edge with a separate Bluetooth controller, which I'm sure Razer has many of anyway. So if you're the type of person that's trying to scratch that Android gaming itch, I don't know, you're trying to do some Android gaming emulators, or maybe you're just trying to do some AAA gaming from your favorite cloud game streaming service, then the Razer Edge with the Razer Kishi V2 Pro controller is definitely a viable option for you. For me specifically, as I've already said, I've already got an Android phone which can do most of the same stuff. So I personally would better benefit from just buying the Razer Kishi Pro V2 controller itself and using that with the phone that I've already got. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Are you guys copying or not? Like, what are you saying?